Going.
On.
Okay, so we are at Mr. Patel's house here in West Des Moines, Iowa, and we're going to do a repairability test on the roof to look and see if the roof will survive a repair. But also, we just want to see what this match looks like. The recommended shingle was Certainty Driftwood. We have that here. It's fairly similar. The first thing that I noticed is the colors are not the same. There's a lot of red and brown in the original shingle. I don't see any red and brown in the new shingle. So again, that's not going to be a reasonable match. But we'll go ahead and do a repair just to see how the shingles will tolerate it, as this is a wind claim and there's several shingles paid for. So I'll go ahead and get started here. So again, I'm going to keep my bar pretty flat to the roof. I'm not trying to lift up to cause damage. I'm going at an angle so that I attack this seal only versus the actual integrity of the shingle. Okay. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to manipulate 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 shingles to be able to get this one out. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just trying to manipulate the shingles that I only need to get to the nails. Seals seem to be breaking pretty easily. Looking up my bar. So I have one of these nails is already pulled through the shingle. Still able to get it out, but definitely damaged that shingle. Pulled through also. Alright, so got the first row out pretty easily. It's a good sign for the repair. Maybe a little granule loss and chipping from manipulating the shingles, but nothing too extreme. Right. So far pretty good. A couple of the nails pulling through the shingles, so we are going to have some damage from that. See, that one's really not trying to come through the shingle. There we go. Again, you see the damage that's caused when you pull these nails out after they've already blown through the shingle. You end up with this huge hole in the shingle. A little bit of material transfer, not an extreme amount. Just in one nail. Where's this nail? Oh, it's that one that never came out. Alright, so you can see there's some chunks of material on the shingle where the nails have pulled through here. You shouldn't have this stuff. Got a big nail blowout right here. There is some material transfer on the shingle. Not a terrible amount, but there is some. And then you can see where these nails blow out, how big that hole is in the shingle. So it wouldn't be a big deal, except that hole is also going to be on the other shingle. So anywhere where these nails blew through the shingle, for whatever reason, you're not gonna have that damage on the shingles that you've already had to manipulate and pull those nails out of too. And then just so you can see, there is some pretty decent material transfer here on this one edge. Not a terrible amount, but it is still present. So you can see this guy. Okay, so the shingle does fit. It's the appropriate length. The exposure looks to be about right. Again, I noticed the color difference immediately. I'm also noticing that these teeth on the shingles are not quite the same as the rest of them around. Looks like they may have changed the shape in some way. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a reasonably uniform replacement just based on color alone. So I got some existing nail holes that I can reuse. You can see I'm just going to lift the shingle up high enough to get the nail and the hammer here, so I'm not trying to overflex the shingle in any way. And it does need to be flush. So that's our trouble spot right here with this big nail blowout. Nail did not want to go in. We're causing some creasing to these shingles, having to lift them up to get the hammer here. If I was using a nail gun, I'd have to lift this up even more. So again, I think we're doing as little damage as possible to the shingle, but it's still happening. Trouble trying to keep the nails going in straight while holding the shingle up. Okay, so we've got enough nails in to kind of show how the repair really went. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rub the shingles where I didn't have to manipulate any of the shingles. You can see very little granule loss coming off of the shingles. The ones we had to manipulate, totally different story. You can see all those granules just trying to fly off the shingle. Next observation would be this creasing that's starting to develop along the top of the shingle. I'm having to bend it to install these nails. So now this shingle is functionally damaged as well as the one below it. So we've got some mild creasing in the shingles, definitely causing damage. I think the main thing to note here is the repair failed. It wasn't a huge failure, but it still failed. The main thing to note here is the shingle is not a match with Iowa line of sight laws. It's not going to be a clear match. It's not reasonable or uniform in my opinion. The new shingle, again, it's like black and gray and blue, and the old shingle is blue and brown and red. So if you repair 10 shingles on this roof, you're gonna end up with like a checkerboard look on it, so it's not gonna match regarding Iowa line of sight. So there was some failure to the shingles regarding the repair, but I think the main thing to notate here, besides the damage, is just the mismatched color. Thank you.